Right Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Order 93.1 of the Standing Orders of this House on a matter of public importance. The Speaker, it has come to our notice that the Honorable Peter Kwache Aka, the current NDC member for Memphis Central in the Western Region, has filed with the Electoral Commission to contest as an independent candidate. The Honorable Amuakun Esiama, the current independent member for Formina constituency in the Ashanti region, has filed with the Electoral Commission to contest also as an NPP candidate. The Honorable Cynthia Mamle Morrison, the current member of Parliament for Agona West constituency in the Central region, has filed with the Electoral Commission to contest as an independent candidate. The Speaker, the Honorable Kojo Asante, the current NPP member for Suhum constituency in the Eastern region, has also filed with the Electoral Commission to contest as an independent candidate. So, Speaker, a similar matter involving Honorable Andrew Amuakun Esiama was referred to this House by the New Patriotic Party, the NPP, in November 2020. The NPP argued that by his decision to contest as an independent candidate whilst he was a sitting NPP member of Parliament, the Honorable Esiama had vacated his seat in accordance with Article 97(1)(g) of the Constitution. The then Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Michael Kyei, upheld the NPP's position and took an action to enforce Article 97(1)(g) of the Constitution and ruled that the NPP member of Parliament for Formina Den had vacated his seat by his decision and conduct and hence ceased to be a sitting member of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this ruling was not contested and has still not been contested and remained good and valid as a rule of this House. Right Honorable Speaker, we therefore call on you to enforce the existing ruling of this House based on Article 97(1)(g) and (h). That decision, Mr. Speaker, applies to all 4 ex-members of Parliament, namely Honorable Peter Kwache Aka, Honorable Andrew Amuakun Esiama, Honorable Cynthia Mamle Morrison, and Honorable Kojo Asante. Mr. Speaker, on the basis of this fact, these persons, namely Honorable Peter Kwache Aka, Andrew Amuakun Esiama, Honorable Cynthia Mamle Morrison, and Honorable Kojo Asante, are deemed to have vacated their seats accordingly. Right Honorable Speaker, this means that currently we do not have an independent member of Parliament. The MPP have only 135 members of Parliament, having seen 2 of their members contested as an independent candidate, and the NDC has 136 members of Parliament. The Speaker, having lost 1 member. Therefore, the MPP group, Mr. Speaker, cannot continue to hold themselves as the majority caucus of this House. Mr. Speaker, I so submit. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker,
yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, if it pleases you, I shall proceed to respond to the submissions of my respected colleague, the Minority Leader. First of all, he argues that there is a precedence in the matter he has raised, and the presidential value of it is what he wants you to give effect to. In his own narration, he also argues that the political party which the member then belonged to petitioned the speaker, and based on the petition the speaker took a decision. There is no petitioner before this house, no political party. If you keep quiet to listen, we listen to him in silence. This is a serious legal matter. Mr. Speaker, his argument is a political party wrote that its member has vacated his seat, and on the basis of that an action was taken. That set of facts are completely different from what he's trying to force on us. There is no such petition from any political party, be it his own political party or our political party. So I just want him to understand that that argument has no leg to stand on. It falls flat. It sits on stilts. That is a preliminary matter. That's a preliminary matter, which he got it wrong, and he wants to mislead Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, haven't addressed that. He says that he comes before you under Order 93. Order 93. 93. And 93. All he says, and I quote, "By the indulgence of the House and the leave of Mr. Speaker, a member may explain a matter of personal nature or make a statement on a matter of urgent public importance at the time appointed for the statement under Order 67. With the greatest respect, Honorable Minority Leader, if you want to invoke the rule, invoke it rightly. What you are trying to do by inviting Mr. Speaker to make a ruling has to do with a statement. The provision does not clothe you with that power to make that application, and that you should get it. Mr. Speaker, the provision that you quoted, you got it completely wrong. You got your rule wrong, and you should know this. Mr. Speaker, I don't know why he was taking the wind out of the sail of the Honorable Harry Idris. Mr. Speaker, this morning, the respected former leader of this house, former minority leader, Honorable Harry Idris,
the statement was contradicted.
Filed a petition before you on notice. The petition that he filed, he served him a copy, and I have a copy with me. The admissibility of the petition is entirely in the hands of Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, the petition is titled Notice of Petition to You to Declare Vacant Seats for 4 constituencies. Honorable Harry Idrisu says, I wish to notify you under Order 99 of Standing Orders of Parliament on the need for you to declare a vacant seat of the following constituencies: 1. Aguna West, 2. Suhum, 3. Amenfi Central, and 4. Formina. He goes on to say, quote, I will be doing so under Order 18 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. Vacancy other than resignation of Article 97 1B to E, G, and H of the Constitution. Mr. Idrisu concludes by saying, the Speaker shall inform the House of the occurrence of vacancy of the seat of a member under Clause 1B, 2E, G, and H of Article 97 of the 1992 Constitution, duly submitted, dated 15th October 2024. Mr. Speaker, the minority is in disarray. In one breath, a member is petitioning you, and in another breath, somebody else having the position of minority leader is also invoking Order 93. Which is which? Mr. Speaker, they are in total confusion as to this mischief they want to invite on this floor. Mr. Speaker, let me remind them. Let me remind them that per your ruling, Mr. Speaker, per your ruling in the Adjustafo case, dated October 26, 2022. Mr. Speaker, this is what you had to say in the Hansard of 26 October 2022, 4th series, volume 117, number 2. And you use these veritable words to express your view. And quote, column 3 of the said ruling. The decision on whether or not a seat is vacant is one that must be carefully considered, and for which our constitution and courts, as well as all the rules and best practices of other parliaments, have provided significant guidance. Our job as a house will not be to dissect the functions of any arm of government, but simply apply the law faithfully and in accordance with the dictates of the 1992 Constitution. In view of the antecedents of the objection raised by the Honorable Majority Leader, it is necessary to recount the facts of the matter before us from its inception up to and concluding the stage it has reached before the House. Mr. Speaker, it went on and on and on, where the issue of proper procedure in determining the Adjustafo case was espoused by you. Mr. Speaker, having put out all these facts, let me concede that this is a serious constitutional matter. Let me concede that this is a serious constitutional matter which has different views being expressed. I am a practitioner of the law and a student of the law. Having come across this controversy, and for the sake of posterity, I have initiated, Mr. Speaker, an action at the Supreme Court. Would you remain quiet for me to argue? I listened to him in silence. I listened to him in silence. Would you remain quiet? That is democracy. You must remain silent and listen to me. You would have to be quiet and listen to me, and you will listen to me, and you will listen to me. You will listen to me. Yeah, you will listen to me. This is a legal argument. This is a legal argument. You have to listen. This is a legal argument. You must listen. Mr. Speaker, I have invoked the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to aid us. And this is in accordance with your own ruling, that these are matters that we need the courts to come in. Mr. Speaker, this process has been duly filed. I have the writ with me. Not only the writ, it's not a naked writ, it's not a lame writ, Mr. Speaker. I also have accompanying the writ a motion on notice for interlocutory injunction, which is also attached to it. The process, Mr. Speaker, has been duly served on Parliament, as I'm made to believe. Mr. Speaker, I am of the view that this is not a matter that anybody can just get up and say that by virtue of a member filing a process to say that I am going to contest in a future election as an independent candidate, automatically I have lost a seat. Mr. Speaker, let me take members back to memory lane. In the 1960s, the First Republic, where, Mr. Speaker, there was cross-carpeting in Parliament, 69 Constitution and 79 Constitution safeguarded the process where political parties were to be protected, and 1992 Constitution also adopted that provision. Mr. Speaker, it is therefore important for members to understand that practically you cannot say that once a member belongs to a caucus and has not resigned his membership of the caucus, the mere fact that he has filed to participate in future elections under a different ticket, he is caught by a certain provision of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, I hold my view. I've heard other views contrary to this. That is the more reason why we require patience for this matter to be properly determined by the courts. We require patience for this matter to be properly determined. Somebody cannot say that, oh, there is a certain precedence, so relying on that precedence under Order 93, Mr. Speaker should just make a declaration. Mr. Speaker, this application, so-called, is leading you into a certain valley of confusion. It's a trap being set for Mr. Speaker for his long years in legal practice. Yes, because you simply want Mr. Speaker to make a declaration which will have far-reaching consequences. In any event, a man must be heard. The rule, all the ultram partem rule, the rule is clear. A man cannot be brought to judgment unless he's been heard. If you claim, then it was bad law. If that is what you want to say, that's what you want to say, it was, would you keep quiet for me to argue? Mr. Speaker, I need to be protected from this stubborn minority chief whip. Kwame Agboja has been a very stubborn minority chief whip. Yes. A man must be heard. It doesn't matter. You've been there before. Mr. Speaker, a man must be heard. The individuals whose matter is being raised are not in this chamber. They are not here. And your party member, your party has no petition. Have you, as General Secretary, written any petition that you've sacked him? And then he's not here. Even if there's a letter from the General Secretary that Honorable Aka has been sacked from NDC, he has to be heard. He has to be heard. A man must be heard. The rule is that if all men find a man's hand in a till, his guilt must still be proven. You cannot just get up and say, Mr. Speaker, should make a declaration, declare somebody's seat vacant. Mr. Speaker, I will not belabor. I've put out the preliminary issues. I have also faithfully explained to you the processes before the Supreme Court of Ghana on this matter. Mr. Speaker, I have also submitted that there is a petition before you. And Mr. Speaker, the Harun Idrisu petition, if you look at it, it means that you are supposed to refer the petition to Petitions Committee. What they are doing, they just want a short circuit. And that is what Honorable Forson is trying to do. Dr. Forson, this is law. This is not economics and taxation. You should know this. The lawyer has filed a petition, and you are using backdoor to create confusion. You want to mislead Mr. Speaker. That's what you want to do. That is what we want to do, Dr. Forson. That is what you want to do. The lawyer in Harun Idrisu has invoked the proper procedure. You just got up, you want to short circuit by saying Order 93.1. Who told you it is Order 93.1 that you have to use? He has used the proper procedure. Wait for Mr. Speaker to admit, and then upon admission we proceed on the rule. Even so, the petition will be caught by the court process. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be. Mr. Speaker, they want to mislead you to truncate our democracy. Mr. Speaker, you've been part of this democracy since 1992. Mr. Speaker, through your experience, you got elected as Speaker of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this is a moment for you to make history, to defend this democracy. Mr. Speaker, not to subject yourself to the whims and caprices of desperate minority leader. A desperate minority leader who does not want to follow procedure and law. Mr. Speaker, don't be tempted, Mr. Speaker. Don't be tempted. The law he relies on sits on stilts. I repeat, there's a proper petition. Let's wait for its admissibility. Because that has been done by a lawyer who knows the rules. Harun Idrisu is a respected lawyer. And we know that. Yes. This is a lawyer's rule. You know that. This is done by a lawyer. If it's issues about tax and economics, I will yield to Forson. On this occasion, it's law. It's law. So let's go by the Harun Idrisu petition. That is the right procedure. But even so, that petition will be caught by the court process. You cannot proceed. You should know this. And you want to mislead, Mr. Speaker. My duty as a leader of government business, my duty as a majority leader, my duty as a majority leader is to guide, Mr. Speaker. I remain so. It will not change today. It will not change tomorrow. I am guiding Mr. Speaker. I don't want you to lead him into temptation. Mr. Speaker, don't be led into temptation. I rest my case without more.
Oh, you can tell them I decline permanently. Even if it wasn't acting, I no longer want that role. But thank you. Hey, Veronica, do you have a second? Yeah. I wanted to present you with
Yes, Honorable,
our acting manager.
Honorable, is that Dominic Kyei?
What does that entail? Well, as you know, Samantha's leaving, so you'd be basically taking over her duties.
Yes,
for, let's
right,
say,
Honorable
90 days,
Speaker,
and
thank
then-
you very much. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader has waxed lyrical on the legal implications of the statement made by the minority leader, the Honorable Minority Leader. Mr. Speaker, what the minority leader invited you to do was basically to adhere to precedent. Mr. Speaker, this House is governed by a number of legal instruments. The first is the Constitution of the Republic. The second is our standing orders. And of course, decisions of the Superior Court of Judicature. Mr. Speaker, the matter that has been raised is legitimately one of public interest. Why? Because there is a constitutional provision that deals with the issues that the minority leader has raised. And that particular provision deals with the balance of power in this House. In other words, the constitutional purpose of Article 97(1) is to deal with the balance of power in this House. And basically what it says is simple, that whenever a member who has come into this House on the ticket of a party decides to go independent, the Constitution says that that member shall vacate his seat in Parliament. The language is mandatory. And the reverse is also true, that when you come in as an independent and you then decide to join a political party, you shall vacate your seat. And the language, Mr. Speaker, once again, is mandatory. Now, the question is whether objectively the actions referred to by the minority leader have actually taken place. Is it true that these members elected into this House on the ticket of the two major political parties have suddenly decided that they are going independent? Now, the minority leader referred to 4 persons or 4 members of Parliament who have taken steps contrary to the Constitution. The majority leader in his delivery has not denied that that has happened. objectively within the public domain, Mr. Speaker, these persons have not denied that in the case of the second Deputy Speaker, that he has decided to join the New Patriotic Party, or let me say, rejoin the New Patriotic Party. Because he came into Parliament initially as a member of that party, when independent, was a subject matter of the ruling that the minority leader says you should, adhere to. Then, as an independent member, he decided to caucus with the minority. There is nothing constitutionally, with the majority, there's nothing constitutionally wrong with that. But then, he has decided to join the New Patriotic Party. And in the language of the Constitution, when he makes that decision, he shall vacate his seat. Now, Mr. Speaker, the Constitution does not provide a procedure by which you make a determination as to whether or not, or how the person vacates the seat. Okay? Now, the majority leader was at pains to emphasize that there is no petition before this House, or that there is a petition by the former minority leader, but that is not the subject matter of the statement being made by the current minority leader. Mr. Speaker, the constitutional provision is triggered merely on the basis of objective available facts relating to the actions taken by the Member of Parliament. It is not as to whether another Member of Parliament or a member of the public or the political party to which that person belongs has petitioned this House. That's not what the Constitution says. In fact, it beholds on the member, if that member does not want to violate the Constitution, in which case they will be charged for high treason under Article 3 of the Constitution. It beholds on that member not to step foot in this House. That member must vacate the seat as enjoined by the Constitution immediately. So there's no need for a petition. The fact that the New Patriotic Party, in its own desperation, in respect of the honorable member for Femina, sent a petition to your predecessor, which was the basis of the eloquent ruling, which we are inviting you today to stand by. Mr. Speaker, you are not, by law, you are not bound by the ruling of your predecessor. But we are saying that what the Right Honorable Aaron Michael Okwei, Professor of Political Science, that ruling, that erudite ruling that he delivered, we are saying that, Mr. Speaker, you should stay by this ruling. Mr. Speaker, the only difference in terms of the presidential value, Mr. Speaker, I need to be protected from the heckling by the majority leader. This is not fair. When he was speaking, he was waxing lyrical about the fact that this is law. I'm not teaching him law. He should listen to me. He should listen to me. Mr. Speaker, sit down, respect.
Sit down and listen to the professor.
Mr. Speaker.
What is that?
So, Mr. Speaker, no, I respect leadership.
No. Sit down. Okay, no, keep quiet and listen. Sit down.
Speaker, we will not be interrupted.
Sit down.
We will not be interrupted.
Sit down. You called me
What's that?
No.
Honorable members, please resume your seats. Resume your seats. Resume your seats. Please. Both members, please resume your seats. Honorable members, the minority leader made a statement under Order 93 on a matter of urgent public importance. That was what the minority leader did. He made a statement on a matter of urgent public importance. By our rule, any member is by the rule permitted to comment on that statement. That is exactly what we are engaged in. And so after him, the majority leader had the opportunity to comment on it. As to what constitutes comment is a different issue. But that's what our rules say, a member is to comment. And so now another member, Honorable Dominic Kyei, is also making comments on the statement. I think it's important we allow him also to do so, and I'll give any other member who wants to add his voice to it by way of comment before, if I'm disposed to, making a ruling. If there is a need to make a ruling, I'll do so. If I think that the issues raised are so weighty that there's a need for me to take some more time to delve into it, I will do so. So please, let's have some order. The Honorable Dominic Kyei should be given the opportunity to continue with his comment and to complete so. Mindful of the time limits, I will ask members, I don't know how many of you want to make comments on it.
All of us.
But please, I will give you sufficient time to do so. Yes, Honorable Dominic Kyei.
So, Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the protection. Mr. Speaker, I was on the point that there is no need for a petition before the action contemplated under 97 and Article 97(1)(g) can be taken. And I said that because the New Patriotic Party in its desperation brought a petition before the Honorable, Right Honorable Mike Okwei, does not necessarily mean that it is that procedure that will necessarily trigger any action under Article 97(g). Mr. Speaker, the majority leader has also indicated, and I was really ached by what he said, that he has filed an action in the Supreme Court, and in respect of that action, he has also asked for an injunction enjoining Parliament from taking any action in respect of this matter. Mr. Speaker, Parliament hasn't yet taken a decision. In fact, in the context of Article 2 of the Constitution, it is an act or omission of a person which violates the Constitution, which triggers an action before the Supreme Court, either an interpretation or an enforcement of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader knows that to take an action in anticipation does not comply with the letter and spirit of the Constitution. In fact, the Supreme Court made it very clear in Tufo and Attorney General that it does not give advisory opinions. What the majority leader has done is basically asking the Supreme Court to give an advisory opinion on a matter that, in respect of which Parliament hasn't yet taken any action. And as a leader of the House, I think that what he's doing, or what he has done by taking that action, is basically weakening the power of Parliament. It was in the same Tufo and Attorney General that the court said that whatever happens in Parliament is a closed book. And the majority leader is behaving in a manner that then opens up Parliament to scrutiny, especially when we have not yet taken a decision. What he's simply doing is that he's asking the courts to basically gag Parliament. Mr. Speaker, do not allow yourself to be gagged. Mr. Speaker, the members of this House will not be gagged by the action that he has filed. We are going to speak out on this matter, and this House will perform its constitutional duty to take a decision with respect to the actions of the members involved. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.